My 25M girlfriend, 25F, accidentally called me a racial slur. Not sure how to proceed. Throwaway cause I don't want to link this back to my main. I have been with my girlfriend for the last 3 years. We met at university. Relationship has been great. I'm black, she's white. We haven't had any race-related issues. Her family is quite progressive. She's a big supporter of BLM. I say all this cause I want to give you relevant info that I don't think she's a racist. The problem? A little not safe for work, but we were having sex when it happened. My girlfriend likes to be vocal during sex and say things like, "Fuck me harder daddy," amongst other things to that effect. Sorry, I know TMI. This time when we were doing it she said, "Fuck me harder UN." With a hard R. I immediately stopped and said, "What the fuck?" She said she was sorry and it just slipped out and she doesn't know where it came from. I didn't want to hear it, so I left the house and drove to a park. I'm currently in my car wondering what to do. She's been texting and calling telling me to come back home and it was an accident. I just don't know though. Like, how does that slip out during sex? I know she says a lot of dirty stuff when we do it, but this crosses a line. I guess I want some advice and I want to know if it's possible that it really was an accident. Has anyone else ever said or experienced a partner saying something this inappropriate before? Here's a scenario where it could have slipped out without her secretly using or thinking the word regularly. She's been watching racist porn. White woman married to a black man here. I've never ever associated my husband with that word, verbally or internally. That is so disrespectful. Not sure how to move past that, but I wish you the best of luck. I find it very hard to believe that people are just suddenly letting things like that slip out. Accidentally. I have never had that word suddenly come to mind in the heat of the moment, whether sexual or angry or whatever else. There is some reason she is used to using that word if it comes to mind randomly like that. You're being fetishized, my man. Dude. Listen. Black man to black man, just leave. Goodness me. If she respected you, she would never call you any racial slur. I'm white and I can honestly say I have never said the N-word. The only way it slips out is if you've made a habit of saying or thinking it. I have no idea how that could ever happen. It's not nearly the same magnitude. But I'm trans and I would for sure break up with someone if they accidentally called me a TRNNY, especially during sex. I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. Op. Get out. What a shit comment section. Op, have some respect for yourself. Doesn't matter why she said it, it's incredibly fucked up and racist. She called you a straight up racial slur that everybody knows is wrong. Just get out and find yourself somebody who will respect you. Listen man, as a black woman myself, if I ever hear my white boyfriend say this, we are through. That shit is racist and I don't believe something like that can slip out of someone's mouth unless they have been saying that word frequently. Which could be her case, that she says that word behind your back. Hell nah. You been fetishized at a slave sex doll. Now you have to choose whether you can look it over and tell her not to do that shit again or dump her. BC people can secretly be racist. Not only that, the fact she said the word is how she probably actually sees you. So stay on guard about that. People can put up a good front. I'm a white woman married to a black man, and I can say I've never said or thought anything like that. There is no possible way it would slip out unless she was already saying it or thinking it. Honestly, my husband would leave me if I did this for fetishizing him. We have had a discussion about this because of a Donald Glover bit where his ex had done pretty much this exact thing. I would be worried what she's saying or thinking if she's willing to just call you that during sex. It comes off, at least to me, like a weird racial fetish. It's not possible to say this by mistake. To do that it would have to be a frequently used or thought about word. I never accidentally say words unless I'm thinking them. My brother, if you go back to her after what she called you, you be exactly what she called you. There's no dick in the world that is so good it would cause a word like to sprue from her mouth. She knows where it came from and I bet that's not the first time it slipped out. You can do one of two things: let her know you don't feel comfortable moving forward with her and walk away with your head held high and pray she survives her next slip, or accept her excuse and go back to being her N with a hard R. The only way you say that word accidentally is if it is already in your lexicon. She either says it in her head, or she's been used to saying it aloud. Chris Rock has a skit about this. Word for word with what you said. Yikes. Not sure I could be with a woman like that after that happened. At best, sounds like she's fetishizing you. Yuck. White girl here with a black boyfriend. Not once in my whole relationship or my life have I ever felt the want, urge, need, feeling to call someone the N-word. Especially not with a hard R. I would 100% expect my boyfriend to leave me if I ever did say that to him, sexy time or not. I also can't imagine that she was so into it that some random word came out, and an extremely racist word at that. My vote is leave before you find out other things about her that aren't okay. I just can't get my head around this. I'm 50-something years old. I grew up in the South. Like part of the Confederacy Old South. I have never said that word in my entire life. I just can't see how she would say it if she didn't think it or fetishize it. I grew up hearing and using this word. When I reached an age where I started questioning things, I realized it was wrong and changed the programming I was raised with. I haven't said this word in well over 25 years, since I was a teenager. I can't fathom how or why she could have said this word by accident. An accident is calling someone by another person's name, or saying, couch, when you mean chair. Yeah. No. This is some wild racist kink shit going on. Even wild BDSM scenes don't include this kind of language. She is definitely fetishizing you. Just leave. It's a deal breaker. You know it. The N-word doesn't accidentally slip out of your mouth and you damn well know it. Rationalize it all you want, but you know what you should do. That's a raging red flag. Location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag. It didn't come out by accident. But instead because she was frequently thinking about it. Probably fetishizing you. I know you may have dated for 3 years, but that gives me even more of a reason to be like, why would she say that? Honestly, if you have kids, do you want their mother to accidentally call them the N-word? 2 words. Get out. I think you've been fetishized, my man. I've always wondered about people who say saying that word is an accident. Saying something accidentally requires a significant level of comfort with a word, and indicates she associates that word with you. I do think it's worth a conversation with her about how she's arrived at that word, and no, slipped out isn't a good enough reason. Whoa. That's weird. That's like me calling my husband a Mexican racial slur during sex. Nope. Nope. I'm a white woman and my ex is a black woman, and I gotta tell ya, we had great sex and I'm super vocal and not once did that word ever even enter my mind. In what world is calling someone that sexy in any way? I can't tell you how you should feel or offer any real advice, but I can tell you as a white woman who has dated a black woman who I still adore and respect, that word would never come out of my mouth. Even on accident. Just know that shit is in her vocabulary. That is no accident. This wasn't a mistake. This has been on her mind. It can't slip out if you aren't thinking about it. Leave your racist GF. POCWOMXN here. Holy shit. It'd be different if you guys were into humiliation and talked about it beforehand. But my friend, hearing that is the opposite of sexy. Definitely makes me think she fetishizes you. Also makes me think that as a woke white woman, that she has some deep-rooted racist shit going on. Personally, I don't think I'd be able to get over that. I cannot believe that there are people in this comment section making excuses saying, oh shit happens. Words slip out, like excuse me. She didn't accidentally called you the wrong name, and even that's wrong. No, this was a racial slur. She is definitely a racist that is good at hiding it, or you're bad at noticing it. And she has been calling you the N-word in her head for some time and it accidentally slipped out this time. Or she has a fetish for black men, watches slavery porn, or has a racist kink. None of these are good reasons or excuses. I say leave her. Ain't no coming back from this. Literally, how do you look in her eyes and sleep with a racist white woman again after she calls you the N-word? How? I'm so sorry you had to hear this from someone you love. It really sounds like she fetishizes you in a bad way and must have some really hateful kinks. I would question her motives for being with you. You really deserve to be loved authentically. There's absolutely no fucking way that came out accidentally. I am also white and have dated black men before, and that word never even came to mind because I don't use or associate with it, so it's just not in my vocabulary. Very, very sorry again that you experienced this. I can think of much better ways she could have revealed that she has a race kink. The N word is one of the few words that do not just accidentally slip out of someone's mouth. I'm worried she'd dating you for a BBC fetish or some other type of racial fetish. IDK. I'm sure they exist. I'm sorry you're going through this, but I would seriously reevaluate the relationship. It just slipped out. That means she's been thinking about that word and associating it with you for a while now. Don't tell me you're in the sunken place. This is an instant deal breaker. Woman facepalming, medium dark skin tone. You can't accidentally say a word that isn't in your vocabulary. Either she said it on purpose or she says it without you knowing. A word like that only slips out if they've had a history of using it. That sucks, man. I have a feeling she's fetishizing you. I swear I've read this exact post before. This would be an absolute deal breaker for me. I wouldn't be able to continue the relationship. Honestly. You know 100% the words you're about to say during sex. You can either redirect, i.e., F me harder you big strong man, or just fake a moan in time to save yourself. She did neither. Saying it, especially with the hard R, is never an accident. Yeah, you're being fetishized for one. But also think about this. Do you ever let a word slip that you never use? The N word has never slipped out because I never use it. She either uses the word or thinks about using it, and she was definitely thinking about you like that when she said it. Speaking from experience, I had a similar situation with a white GF, and it was a complete aberration at the time. Until 6 months later when it happened again. And then she defended it. I gave her the benefit of the doubt as other comments have suggested, and I regret that decision. Oh wow. White woman here. Brought up in London and surrounded by a multicultural situation and also racists at times. Never ever have I slipped up and used that by mistake. And I'm middle-aged now. Good God. No advice, just, wow. Good luck. The Fox and the Wolf. Malcolm X. As others have said, sounds like she's been into race play fetish porn stories. Some people are into that, but you might need to tell her that's a perfectly reasonable limit for you. I have never once let that word accidentally slip out because it's a word I never use in any context. She was in the moment, unfiltered, and that's what slipped out. Huge red flag. I can't believe you're entertaining this. It should be a deal breaker. I'm concerned you don't have enough self-esteem or respect. I'm so sorry African Americans have to live in a world where the person they love calls them slurs in a vulnerable moment, and that's not enough to end the relationship. I'm of the belief that when a word just slips out, it's because it's a regular part of your dialogue and you accidentally used it as an unsuitable time. Not that there's ever really an appropriate time to say that in this circumstance. I'm talking about accidentally saying, fuck, in front of your parents because you're used to using it everywhere else and you forgot to turn your filter on. That word should not be something she's normally thinking about, saying. Her saying it accidentally shows that it's a part of her inner or even outer dialogue. She could just be reenacting things she's seen in porn. I could believe it was an accident, but it's up to you whether it's a forgivable mistake or not. What the fuck?